Welcome to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. This is Lonnie along with Tony Robinson. And first, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys taking command of the Commanders in 44-22. That was very painful. And then we'll also be talking about the big meltdown in Denver, giving up 33 points. The New York Giants giving up 33 points against the Denver Broncos. And we'll be talking about that and more in 30 seconds on Chasing the Highlights podcast.
Come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive, friends and fans, united with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive, friends and fans, united with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays.
And good evening to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington. I'm in Arizona, and I got my co-host here, Tony Robinson. He is in Texas. How you doing, Tony?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Hey, welcome to a new audience. We are now on YouTube. So if you're watching us from YouTube, welcome to our show. We usually do this every night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then, we're also on live on Facebook also. So tonight, like we started the intro with, let's talk about, this painful game. All right. I'm the resident Commanders fan, but, we've got this to talk about tonight, right? Let's just rip the Band-Aid right off early. Tony, Commanders 44, Dallas 44, the Commanders 22. And, we kind of knew going into this game that we were going to have some challenges because the Commanders were down Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel and, some other wide receivers that they did not have. But I didn't think it was going to be like this. What do you think?
Well, I told you on the last week's podcast that this was going to happen. I feel like it was going to be tough for y'all to go beat the Cowboys the way, I don't know. It actually helped see when CeeDee Lamb came back. CeeDee Lamb coming back actually threw everything to their side, to me, in my opinion, because he came in and had 5 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. So having that dynamic player there, plus to go along with Javonte Williams with 116 yards, 1 touchdown, and Dak throwing 3 touchdowns, it just snowballed on y'all. And yeah, y'all didn't have all your players, so I would have liked to see the game with having all your pieces there. So I'm gonna give you that little asterisk next to that loss. So but I want to hear what you got to say about this because Cowboys divisional rival. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I'm totally disappointed. I thought that we would have our challenges, but to see this game, 44-22 was totally outrageous. I thought we were going to be back and forth, and we were. But, we have some problems, and I think some of the problems that the Commanders have is getting old, right? We have an old roster, one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. I think we're like top, either number 1 or number 2 in the NFL. And that shows, when you get, Bobby Wagner, he is probably going to be top 5 in tackles amongst linebackers, but he has lost a step. When you get a running back on him out in space, when you get a tight end on him out in space, it's hard for him to cover. And a lot of that could be scheme-wise too. But let's talk about Marshon Lattimore. I think where I'm going with this, and all of the Commanders fans are kind of really ticked off at Marshon Lattimore. And then one thing I will say about Marshon Lattimore, last season he came in, we picked him up and got him from the Saints. He was injured, hamstring injury, right? We gave him a lot of leadway. Veteran guy, still can play. He had a lot of the holding and grabbing going on last season, but he was healthy going into camp. Did a full camp with us, knew our scheme, knew everything, and we were really counting on him along with Amos, a rookie on the other side that could lock down one side, but we're counting on the veteran Lattimore to lock down the other side. But that hasn't happened this year. We're seeing the same old things over and over at Lattimore where he is really handsy. He's getting a PI, putting the team in the bad situation, or on the deep pass, he doesn't even turn his head around. I think Lattimore could have 6 interceptions this year. He had just played the ball and turned his head around to find the ball instead of running into the receiver or being a little bit too handsy with the receiver. And he's really cost us a lot of football games. I know this is not really about one person and it's a team sport, but these have really hurt our team time and time again in the passing game. We just can't rely on him anymore. My suggestion is that you put Mikey Sanderstill on the outside, and then you have Amos on the inside, and then you take Jonathan Jones, who's just coming off of injured reserve. You put him in the slot, and you let Lattimore just kind of fill in the blanks, somewhere along the line there, because the Commanders can't lose too many more of these games. And if Terry McLaurin, I just got news that Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel could be playing Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't know about Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels got hurt in the Cowboys game with a hamstring injury. I heard that the hamstring injury is not that bad. But you know what? I would play Marcus Mariota and as long with Deebo Samuel and my guy Terry McLaurin, if they're healthy, that gives the Washington Commanders some juice now on the outside and gives them a lot of flexibility. But moving forward, we're 3-4. We have a tough schedule coming up where we have Monday night Kansas City, and then we have the Seattle Seahawks. And then, at that point, we have to go after one or two of these games very, very hard to get ourselves back into place for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough going against the Chiefs. They got Rice back over there, so they're looking dangerous right now. So be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Dak Prescott, I got to give him his flowers, man. Number one offense in the league. He's looking like MVP. If they can get that, if they can get in the playoff contention and somehow get in the playoffs, I think that he has to be my choice, really, MVP. I'm not giving the Dak. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys, but man, I gotta give it where credit is due. He was outstanding. I mean, he threw for 3 touchdowns. And he was just amazing. We couldn't stop him even to get pressure on him. But the Commanders got some problems, and I think the GM, Adam Peters, he has to start to look at doing something before the trade deadline. Maybe we did get Treylon Burks, the former number 1 pick of the Tennessee Titans 4 years ago. He is now on our team. He's in the practice squad. He's kind of learning the offense. And if we can get him up to speed with the next couple of weeks, he'll help us on the back end of that schedule. You got another big guy who's about 6'2", 225. And, we could definitely use that boost in the passing game. And, obviously the biggest thing is about Jaden Daniels. When does he come back? He's going to have to take a week or 2 off. But whatever he needs, we cannot rush this guy back. He's a running quarterback. He's the future of the Commanders, and we got to give him time to get better.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. So, moving on, we're going to talk about a hot spot, right? A hot button. Do you remember this dude, Tony? Do you remember that guy there? Do you remember his name? What's this guy's name? Joe Flacco in a Cleveland Browns uniform. Okay. Tony, the last time we saw this guy is on Thursday night. All right. We saw this guy on a Thursday night, and he was doing work. He was doing work against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it was bad. I mean, wow. I mean, this guy here, you guys basically threw him, aside, Joe Flacco aside, okay, and you proceeded to trade him to an in-division rival, okay, and he 342 yards rush out of passing, I believe, and touchdowns. He just went off. He was throwing flamethrowers out there. Even late in the game, he rushed for a 14-yard first down. He looked like wow. And I remember saying to you last week on the podcast that, man, if this guy comes and beats the Pittsburgh Steelers, I gotta wonder, was it Joe Flacco, who everybody thought was washed up, or is the coaching staff in Cleveland? What say you, my friend, resident Cleveland Brown fan?
Well, I have to say, I'm gonna start off with even though nobody wants to hear this, Deshaun Watson actually, talking bad about, well, not talking bad, but liking everything, every podcaster, ESPN, Cleveland, or all these different media outlets are talking bad about Kevin Stefanski, and Deshaun Watson is liking everything when it comes to talking about his play calling and his scheme and stuff like that. And, everybody's talking about his vanilla scheme and stuff like that. And I'm thinking that it could be truth to that. Deshaun Watson's kind of offense was kind of, it wasn't the same that we saw in Houston. So everybody was like talking bad about him, making it seem like it was his fault that he didn't want to go under center and all this stuff. But maybe there's something to Stefanski. Like everybody knows what we're doing because he hasn't evolved his offense with the quarterbacks that we have. And I feel like once we figure that out or like I do want a new coach, but at the same time, if he can work on like evolving the offense or getting somebody else in there that can actually throw the ball past 10 yards accurately, I'm not gonna say the name because as soon as I say the name, they're gonna be coming for me in the comment section. But we know who it is. But when you have your running back, I'm kind of going off topic about because I want to talk about Flacco right now because he's gone. He's not a Cleveland Brown anymore. But that he did have a great game. Just to get back to that, I knew it was going to happen because he has the best. I told you on the last podcast too. Like he has better players, better receivers, and it's just like once you have those kind of caliber receivers, the sky's the limit. What you can do, like anybody can pretty much go in there and just. You got to be a veteran and like know what you're doing.
But he was 9 days. He was only there 9 days, and then he just did that. It was crazy. It's crazy. So I'm going to bail you out just a little bit here, and just so you know, the Cleveland Browns did have a game this week, right? And they did get a big win. So the Cleveland Browns won 31-6 over the Miami Dolphins. The defense capitalized on an ugly performance by Tua Tagovailoa, who threw 3 interceptions. Rookie running back Krishan Jenkins scored 3 touchdowns for Cleveland Browns. And so I think he had like 80-something yards rushing too. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, they did what they were supposed to do against the worst team in the NFL. I mean, you guys are kind of like a little bit hovering around there too, but you beat the team that you were supposed to beat. So that's good news. Now, does this buy Dylan Gabriel a little bit more time to start and keep our guy there, Shedeur Sanders, on the sidelines?
That's funny. I don't think so, to be real, because to me, like, they showed me that they didn't trust him because of like on goal line plays. He wasn't in the game. It was Quinshon Junkins in the game three straight times, and Junkins scored 3 straight times. So. And previous to that, when we had him under center, we couldn't do nothing really. I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns or whatever. He threw 2 touchdowns, but it was like, anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. But my whole point is with this whole thing is that if you can't throw past 10 yards accurately, if you just dinking and dunking the whole time, like we have no place for you on I don't think any team will have any place for you on a team. So when it comes
is this Dylan Gabriel's talent, or is this the scheme that's the Stefanski is coming to these ball games with?
Well, I think it's totally the scheme but it's the scheme, but then it's also Dylan Gabriel because he's looking over his shoulder at Shedeur behind him. He's like, I don't want to mess up, so he's playing. It seems like he's playing safe. He's checking down too much. And then when it comes, I don't know if he can see over the offensive line and defensive tackle or defensive lineman coming at him. Because when you see him in the pocket, he just standing there and he just collapses sometimes, and he can't get away. I thought he was quicker than what he was. He can't really move around like I thought he could do. He barely moving faster than Flacco did. But I feel like it's part scheme, but I think part player too. But I feel like if you need somebody in there that can improv off schedule. And I feel like Shedeur has a better opportunity doing that when he has, even though they say the blocking is terrible, Shedeur had bad blocking at Colorado. They want to say, oh, he took all these sacks, but at the same time, you have to understand he doesn't have an SEC offensive line at Colorado. So he was trying to extend plays, make plays outside the pocket, but it didn't work out. So he still was killing. He did pretty good. Every team that he's went to, he made them better. So without an offensive line. And having, coming to Cleveland without an offensive line. So I feel like he will have a better opportunity to make it. I think he can unlock the offense is my whole point.
Okay. All right.
With that.
So when do you think, just real quick, when we wrap this up, when do you think that we might see Shedeur Sanders based off the information you've been getting?
Well, yeah, ESPN Cleveland, Tony Rizzo, he came out and said that he has two sources. One source is saying that Shador might be, he said he's guaranteed to start the last 4 games of the season. He has another source that said he may start sooner. And everybody's talking about like after the bye week, he can come in and play against the Jets. So let's be on the lookout for that. I don't know how true that is, but if Tony Rizzo, is saying this on ESPN Cleveland, it's usually pretty right because he's very connected with the Cleveland Browns organization. So if it's somebody that's a source, it's probably coming from the Browns organization.
Wow. That's good insight. Thank you. So we're going to be moving on, and in the next game, we're going to be talking about, the Denver Broncos, historic comeback, the Denver Broncos and their historic comeback, 33-32. The Denver Broncos overcame a 19-0 fourth quarter deficit, scoring 33 unanswered points to win. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix led the dramatic rally. This game was crazy. It was 19-0 in the fourth quarter. The Giants was absolutely dominating this game. And at one point, I remember saying to myself in this game, Tony, like, wow, I can't believe that, man, the Giants are like really good now. For some reason, they flipped the switch. Jackson Dart and Scatterboo has unlocked this offense, and it's like permeated through the whole team. The defense is mirroring what the offense is looking like, and man, they're going after people right now. And then next thing you know, the fourth quarter happens, and then this meltdown happens by the New York Giants. Now the New York Giants do go and play Philadelphia again in the rematch of last week's game that they beat, Philadelphia, and Philadelphia wants a little payback. How do you think the Giants, first of all, in this game, hats off to Bo Nix. And it's like you woke up a sleeping giant somehow. Jackson Dart had an interception in this game that really kind of got things going for, the Denver offense. What do you think? And how do you think the Giants can actually come back from a loss like this, in such a crazy type of game?
It's going to be hard because, I mean, they went against a hard defense in the Philadelphia Eagles the previous week. And then you come into this game, you got a hard defense, and you got to go back to Philly or go play Philly again. And I think Jalen, I think he's back. The defensive tackle's back, so that's gonna make it even harder.
Yeah, he played last week too.
Yeah, but I think in this game, I feel like because I didn't really watch this game, but I was keeping track of Bo Nix because I have him in fantasy football and stuff like that. And like the first half, I was kind of pissed off because I'm like, dude, what's going on with you? I picked you up because I thought your offense was going to be good. And then, then when I started seeing those touchdowns roll in, I was like, whoa, another touchdown. So I mean, the comeback was great. I mean, seeing it through the fantasy lens, because I was like, I was catching up, even though I still lost in my fantasy team. But
Bo Nix didn't get you over the hump with his comeback.
He got me closer, but it was too far away. So
too bad. Yeah. Well, that was a great comeback. We have to move on, but the Philadelphia Eagles 28-22 over the Minnesota Vikings. Jalen Hurts had his best game of the season, throwing for 326 yards and 3 long touchdowns to wide receivers AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And in this game, I was watching it, and I said to myself, I'm not quite sure what the what the problem have been with this offense, but clearly they haven't been able to run the ball. Okay, Saquon Barkley didn't have 100 yards in this game either. He hasn't had 100 yards all season after having over 2,000 yards last year. But all Jalen Hurts has to do is throw the ball, throw the damn ball up in the air, and let one of these guys, Devontae Smith or AJ Brown, go under it, and they're going to make plays down the field. These guys are 1A and 1B wide receivers. And man, what a big difference a week makes.
Oh yeah, I mean that's all we've been talking about on the podcast. Like we don't know what's going on with this team. I mean they have spurts of like last year's Super Bowl winning team, and they'll go back to like when they were terrible again, like the Browns. They look like the Browns and stuff like that. So, but I mean I don't know what's going on with Saquon. I don't know what it is. I mean maybe he's I don't know. Super Bowl hangover still, and maybe it's a Super Bowl hangover. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of because he does have a lot of endorsements now, or more endorsements.
But he's got a lot of mileage on him too. A lot of people don't realize that I mean, New York ran him to death, right? And so he's got a lot of mileage, and then running for 2,000 yards last year. I'm not sure if it's the burst. I know they have some offensive line issues too, but I mean, still, you don't expect them to have that much problems in the running game.
Well, they could be saving them for the when it gets cold, because usually like the running backs like Derrick Henry, all those big body backs, nobody wants to hit when it's cold usually. So they usually wait till the end of this, like when it starts snowing, like getting cold, the colder weather, to get them unlocked and loaded. So maybe a couple more weeks, then we'll start seeing Saquon, because they'll take the ball out of the air. They won't pass as much when it's cold. So we'll see.
I mean, possibly. I mean, we'll see. But the Eagles got back on track in a get-back game, a tough environment. Carson Wentz was just, I'm like, you can't beat Carson Wentz. It's going to be a problem. They could not lose 3 games in a row. And the Eagles actually showed, hey, they still got some fight. They're still are the champs until you beat the champs. And they still lead the NFC East by at least 1 or 2 games now. So with Dallas being in that spot with the tie, so maybe Dallas is a game and a half back. But anyway, moving on to the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots 31, Tennessee Titans 13. Returning to Nashville, the Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel led his team to his 4th straight win. Rookie quarterback Drake May broke a franchise record by completing over 90% of his passes, while also adding 62 yards rushing. Man, Drake May, whatever McDaniel has done as offensive coordinator, he has unlocked Drake May. Drake May is now that dual quarterback too, like Dayton Daniels was last year. He's throwing the ball down the field accurately. He's making plays with his legs. The only thing, he's still kind of reckless with getting down on the ground and taking unnecessary hits. But boy, he has to realize that if he can stay healthy, they are on top of the AFC East, by the way, ahead of the Buffalo Bills. And if Drake May stays healthy and they continue to play like they're playing, they have a favorable schedule down the road. And wow, I know New England fans have been waiting for this, and so got a lot of Patriots fans. Man, I got a lot of good things to say about the New England Patriots.
Yeah, Drake May is he's been running since he's been in college, so we know that about him. And I mean, when you get an offensive coordinator that has Super Bowl championships with Tom Brady, like that's that's gonna kind of put bleed off onto the quarterback, because he knows he's been there and done that. So he had the GOAT as his quarterback before, so he's pretty much training him the same way. I'm sure Drake May came to him like, what does Brady do in this situation, stuff like that. So he's probably picking his brain and like to figure out how to be great for the Patriots, because he's tired of losing. He doesn't probably like losing, so he wants to get to that level of Patriot football. So
yeah, and so good. Hats off to the Patriots. We'll see them down the road, and we'll see if they can maintain.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And so, the Indianapolis Colts, I mean, everybody, every week they keep saying they're waiting for the wheels to fall off in Indianapolis. They're waiting for them to somehow choke, and they just keep rolling. I mean, they played the LA Chargers. They win 38-24 against the Chargers. And I just want to say one thing about the Chargers. Burn those ugly uniforms that you had on this week. Okay, don't wear those no more, guys. I mean, really, those mustard-colored uniforms were horrible. They were not good for TV. Whoever put them in those uniforms, it was bad. So along with that, they also got dominated by the Colts. The Colts continued their impressive season behind a powerful offense. Quarterback Daniel Jones posted a passer rating of over 100 for the 6th time. Okay, the 6th time this season, while running back Jonathan Taylor rushed for 3 touchdowns, his 3rd game of the season. 3 touchdowns, his 3rd time this season, Jonathan Taylor with 3 touchdowns. I mean, what do you think about the Colts?
Yeah, the Colts are doing their thing. I mean, we've been saying like, okay, we're gonna wait to see what they do against this division, and they're doing what they've proven us. Well, I kind of said they were good, but we were waiting to see what they did against this division here, and they're kind of like dominating this division right now. So, so they're looking like they're for real. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is playing lights out, and Jonathan Taylor, like he had last year, he was dealing with the injuries that he had, but they usually say you have to wait a year to be fully back to normal. And this year, he's showing that he's back to normal, and like everything he's doing is I don't know, it's kind of like Junkins. He's carrying the team a little bit, but you know when you have a Daniel Jones and you got all these guys, Alec Pierce, Tyler Warren, the rookie, like all those guys, you know,
are playing,
filling in the pieces, like doing their job, you know, just like Bill Belichick said, just do your damn job, pretty much.
Yeah, the defense is good too, man. The defense, you know, with that offense, they're good too. They're holding opponents to, you know, low scoring games.
They have injuries too, and they still got people coming back.
Yeah.
And they just doing, you know, putting in the work. I mean, the offense, when you got the offense scoring 38 points, that's good for the defense. They don't have to work as hard, you know.
Yeah, other than that, that field goal and that they lost against the Denver Broncos, I mean, they could be undefeated right now. You know, that penalty that they had, and then also one of their players dropping the ball before he went over the goal line for a touchdown. That was the difference between them right now being undefeated, 7-0. So hats off to them. You know, I would say, I mean, Matthew Stafford, he threw for 5 touchdowns in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars and a blowout win in London. It's crazy because we don't know what we're going to get with this team, right? Week to week, but, you know, and also, you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know, maybe we start to say, well, we got to wait and see. We weren't wrong about waiting to see about the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, they've stumbled here over the last couple of weeks. And, you know, with that blowout win, we still got some questions about the Jacksonville Jaguars and where they might end up in the AFC when this whole thing is over. And people have to remember, a lot of these teams that are winning in the first half of the season, their back end of their schedule is a lot tougher. And so we really start to see, you know, what everybody's willing to make predictions now. It's still way too early because I think that there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of injuries in the league. We say this every week. And every week it proves out that there's a lot of injuries and we don't know week to week who's going to come out and on top. And so that game there proves it. You know, the Carolina Panthers, I don't even know why I'm mentioning this. They beat the Jets 13-6. The Panthers defense led by J.C. Horn's 2 interceptions and 6 total sacks secured an ugly victory over the winless Jets. The Jets bench quarterback Justin Fields during the game. And of course, a former Ohio State Buckeye, I just heard that the owner of the Jets came out and basically said, we're losing because, basically Justin Fields is on the field, and they're wanting Tyrod Taylor to take over the team now because Justin Fields just has been that bad. And it's too bad because now you've got a third team now saying that we don't want you, Justin Fields. And so unfortunately, he went to the wrong team because that team is still losing and he doesn't have a chance to really have a good line, a good offensive coordinator. Too bad for a young kid like Justin Fields.
Yeah, just like we say about the Browns, right? The coaching, I mean, not saying that the coach in the Jets is bad, but the offensive coordinator, the offensive scheme around these certain players, like a lot of times they try to fit you into their scheme and not try to fit the scheme around the player. That's the running issue that I've seen, especially with the Jets and the Browns. They have a history of doing this. Especially the Browns. I mean, I can speak for the Browns because we kind of, with this Stefanski thing, it kind of like it gets stuck in this like, you got to fit the scheme or else, I don't know. But with Fields, I don't know. Fields, he should have stayed with the Chicago Bears, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because he actually did a lot of good for that team, and then they're gonna go out and get all these players when he leaves. It's kind of messed up. So then he goes to the Jets with a terrible team that is always terrible, just like the Browns. So I can vibe with I can say that because I'm a terrible team too. So I have a terrible team too, so I can say it. So but yeah, I mean, I just feel like he needs to be on a different team. I think hopefully he should have stayed with the Pittsburgh Steelers too, but I don't know.
Yeah, he should have stayed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Pittsburgh, they wanted to move on and wait for Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers basically told him, hey, if you want a chance at me, get rid of all these bums. You got Russell Wilson and, and Justin Fields, and do not get any young quarterback in the draft. If you do that, I'm going to be eliminated. So it's worked out so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers, other than, last week's game. Another game I got to touch on real quick, because the 49ers, they just keep on winning. I mean, they beat a tough Atlanta Falcons team who beat Buffalo the week before, the 49ers win against Atlanta 20-10. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, 201 total yards, 129 yards rushing, 72 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was just unstoppable in this game. I mean, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying, wow, this is incredible. This guy here has, his injuries are over, and he dominated the game. And another win for Mac Jones. Again, I keep telling you, he's going to be $40 million quarterback next season. Somebody's going to pay him to come in and do what he's doing with all the injuries that the 49ers have too on offense. And he's coming in, he's playing the way he's playing. What a good look for him again.
Mac Jones, Mac Jones. Even though Mac Jones didn't have a good game, but he managed the game properly. He just got the ball to Christian McCaffrey. That's all you got to do. Just like with the Browns, get his junkins. McCaffrey played his heart out. The defense held the Falcons to 10 points. That's good. Even though they lost their top linebacker to a season-ending injury, Warner. Yeah. They still they next man up mentality. You got to step up, and every week you got to do what you got to do. So,
yeah, and wrapping up here, week 7, Green Bay Packers beat Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals led late in that game, and then the sacks that Michael Parsons had really turned that game around. I think he had like 2 or 3 sacks in that game. So that was another game there. But Green Bay shouldn't have even had that. Shouldn't even let it be that close. The Cardinals did not have Kyler Murray. They're really not really a great team. And you know what? The Green Bay is barely winning these games, but they're still winning. And I think they would be the number 1 seed if the playoffs was to start today. But we still have a half a season left. So, it's crazy. And do I even need to talk about, what the Kansas City Chiefs did to the Oakland Raiders? I mean, 31-0. Rashee Rice was back. And I mean, he just totally went off in that game. And this is the scary part. The Commanders play them coming up on Monday night, and we're going to need all of our people back somewhat healthy just to even be in that game on Monday night. And we'll have to see really how it goes. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we're back, we will preview week number 8. So stay tuned. We are back, and you're watching the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington, and I'm along with my co-host here, Tony Robinson. He's in Texas, and we just went back and recapped week 7. Now we're going to talk about week 8. All right. There's some pretty good matchups week 8. Starting out, we have the Green Bay Packers at Pittsburgh Steelers, a Sunday night football game. Both teams have playoff aspirations, and it's a classic rivalry between 2 interconference teams, the NFC versus the AFC. I think Pittsburgh need to come out in this game and kind of try to reestablish themselves again as the leader in the AFC North Division, because right now with that win with Cincinnati and what Joe Flacco has energized that team, and then the Cleveland Browns, I'm not really expecting too much for them, but again, I think that if, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't come out against Green Bay, they could start losing some momentum with another win from the Cincinnati Bengals. So what do you think about that?
I think Pittsburgh has to show up in this game because I feel like the Green Bay Packers are going to do the same thing Joe Flacco did. They're going to try to pass the ball early and often. But I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers need to put pressure on their offense, on their quarterback and everything. But I feel like I think Green Bay's defense is a little better to me, in my opinion, than Pittsburgh. So I feel like they're going to get to Rodgers a lot more, and it's probably going to stifle the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that's our rival too, so I have to say bad stuff about Pittsburgh Steelers. but from what it was a bad loss by Pittsburgh on Thursday night. To make no mistake about it, it was a bad loss. Yeah, so it shows me that they have a chink in their chink in their armor or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And I feel like I feel like Green Bay can actually do the same thing in the passing game, potentially, and they got the running game to back it up too. So I got Green Bay in this game.
Okay, yeah. You need that. You need them to, not only do you have them, it might be practical. I'm not quite sure. I would love the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. Just them being at home and Green Bay having to travel to Pittsburgh, which is not too far. But anyway, I think I would like to see Green Bay lose this game. I want Pittsburgh to win this game, but we'll see on Monday night. Looking here, we have a matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. Minnesota should handle their business in this game. I mean, the Chargers, they're reeling right now. I haven't put my hand on it, but the Chargers should be better, and this is a home game for the Chargers too. I think Minnesota should win this game.
So it's a Chargers home game?
Yeah, it's the Minnesota is at the Chargers.
Well, with Carson Wentz, I mean, it's kind of hard to root for the Vikings or like to want them to win because of the inconsistency at the quarterback position. And I mean, they have all the pieces, but the quarterback spot has to be solidified. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'm not, who am I, but I feel like, you have to have consistency, at quarterback. And if you don't have it, you're going like this every time, like the stock market.
Man,
if you don't have that.
Even McCarthy.
Yeah.
McCarthy is not, I don't think if he comes back this week, I don't think it's going to be even better.
I mean,
he wasn't good. He wasn't good before he got hurt.
But it could rejuvenate him.
Before he got hurt.
It could rejuvenate him though, and also it can give him time to like watch from afar, watch a veteran in Carson Wentz, see what he's doing wrong, and like see how he can correct things and stuff like that, and what he was doing. Maybe it can light a fire under them going into the Chargers. Maybe I don't know.
Just to think. Last year, Minnesota had Daniel Jones and Darnold on their team. And look at what they're doing now. They're gone. Can you imagine if Daniel Jones would have stayed there in Minnesota, what their team would be like now? Or Darnold, who was amazing last year for Minnesota, what their team would be like now. So that's something to think about too if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan.
Well, you never know how it was going to be because every team is different. They went into a different scheme, so it may have fit the way they.
Well, Sam Darnold was good last year with Minnesota, so we knew what he would do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Yeah.
So I mean, that's it. And so we have the Chicago Bears at the Baltimore Ravens. So, man. 4 in a row, right? 4 in a row for the Chicago Bears. They're on a roll right now. They're hot, right? And I tell you, I mean, we don't quite know, what's going on in Baltimore. We do know that Lamar Jackson could be back for this game potentially. But this guy here, number 18, Chicago Bears, this dude, the number 1 overall pick. I mean, Ben Johnson has him playing some pretty good football. Is he, they got a tough schedule down the stretch at the, coming down the back half of the season. But right now they're stacking up wins, 4 in a row. Hey, congratulations, the Chicago Bears. I got to give you some more flowers this week. You beat my team last week and you took care of business, what we expected you to do against the New Orleans Saints.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I also, I've been saying this, with the Ben Johnson offense. I mean, I feel like the Chicago Bears have been rejuvenized, and like their offense is so much better, and like they're Caleb Williams finally like getting it with the offense. It's almost like Jared Goff in Detroit when he was there, and I feel like they can win this game because Baltimore's defense is not that good at all.
Right.
They're giving up a lot of passing yards, and I feel like their receivers are going to shred them. And but they have Baltimore predicted to win by 64%, which is odd. That means Lamar Jackson must be coming back.
Lamar Jackson must be coming back.
He's going to
be the difference maker.
but if they get into a shootout, I feel like, I don't know. Hopefully, Lamar Jackson doesn't re-injure something, because I feel like he's coming back too soon.
I know he's been out for 3-4 weeks now, right?
But is it a hamstring injury?
It might be a hammy.
With those, you gotta, with how he plays his game and quick twitch and how he is.
I think he's going to be fine. 3-4 weeks is about it.
See what happens to your quarterback.
Really.
See what happens to your quarterback. He was compensating and he hurt his other leg.
Yeah. If Lamar Jackson's back, they go to Baltimore, right? So if he's back, that could re-energize that defense again. Who, this defense has been playing like crap basically for the last 3-4 weeks since Lamar Jackson's been out, and that was supposed to be their hallmark. They're always good on defense. Something happened this year. I don't know.
Is Smith, because Smith, their top linebacker was out too with a hamstring. So if he comes back, that will make the defense a lot better.
Is it Roquan Smith?
Roquan Smith, yeah.
Yeah, he might be back. I mean,
they say it's questionable, and they expect him to be back this week, but I don't know.
It's questionable, so we'll see what happens in that game. And I'm looking here at the schedule. San Francisco 49ers at the Houston Texans. I mean, last night's game, the Houston Texans just laid a big fat egg. I was totally disappointed. The Seattle Seahawks, right? We talked about the Seattle Seahawks and how good they are on defense, and what they're doing on offense is just amazing. They've got Donald, they got Smith and Jigma there, and he's leading. He's one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL as far as yards, and they're like one of the top dual quarterback wide receiver duels in the NFL right now too. Along with that defense, man, it's the Texans just couldn't do anything. But now they got San Fran coming in to Houston, and this is a must-win game for the Houston Texans to win this game. And we're going to see if C.J. Stroud can get them back on track again, along with Nico Ryans.
Nico Collins.
Nico
Ryans is the coach, yeah.
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Stroud showed me, when he plays against good defenses, I mean, he kind of, sputters, and even at home, he hasn't played really well since his rookie year. It's just,
one of your Ohio State guys. I know you.
I
watch him.
I was just about to say another Buckeye that's struggling right now, but I have Niners going in and taking this over. I mean, the Texans got this good defense at home. I mean, they got a good defense altogether, but it's just the offensive side is not consistent. And Nico Collins went out with the injury in his last game, so I don't know if he's going to be back for this game. So
I mean, he's been injured. I mean, this guy cannot even stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he can't stay healthy, but with this, I mean, just seeing how they played down the stretch against Seattle, he couldn't find anybody to throw to. It was like, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like he has no help without Nico Collins, because Nico Collins can take the top off the game, just throw that thing deep.
Oh, he's a good player.
Right. But it's like, if you don't have him, then who else do you go to? You have nobody else. So that's why I feel like the Niners are going to take this, because they don't have enough firepower on the offensive side. Because Stroud doesn't run the ball like Mahomes. They can throw and run. He doesn't do that, so it's kind of hard to pick the Texans on this one. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the Texans to overcome that game. But the Houston Texans at home, they play a little bit different. We'll see.
I think they're 2-5 right now, so that's a tough one to overcome. And we've got a hot game. I mean, this on CBS at 4:25 p.m. on Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys at the Denver Broncos. Man, oh man, I want to see this game so bad. And I'm pulling for the Broncos to win this game. But man, the way they look, the first 3 quarters of that Giants game, it's like a tale of two teams. I mean, but now you have the hot Dallas Cowboys, number 1 offense coming in to play one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. And then you don't know what offense you're going to get with the Denver Broncos too. And you got to remember that the Dallas Cowboys don't really have a good defense either. So I think this is going to be a really good game. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be coming in on off a big win against the Commanders, a shorthanded Commanders team. But make no mistake about it, those Dallas Cowboys are going to be a tough out for the Denver Broncos. And we're going to have to see what happens this game. I think right now I want the Denver Broncos to win this game, obviously for the NFC East standings and my Commanders. But I just don't know. I mean, what do you think about this game? It's going to be a really good game.
Well, I think since they added Jadeveon Clowney, I think their defense has played a little better. Especially playing.
He had a couple of batted balls last game. Yep.
Yeah. So I think he's not his rookie, so like how he played when he was younger, but he's like
6'7". I mean, this guy's
he's still active on the defensive side. So it's like, but with the Broncos, we talked about this before. Like when they play the Jets, you don't know what offense you're going to get, right? So it's like you beat the Jets 13-11. You barely can put an offensive stream together against a sorry team, and then you go against. It's like they play down to their competition and then they play up when they, to come back, they play up to their competition. So it's like if they can beat that in the middle and like start off fast and like just start off beating every team like right out the gate, they'll be fine. It's just, but they tend to play down to their competition. So in this game, I feel like it could be a shootout because with this high-powered Dallas Cowboys team. I feel like, even though Denver has a good defense, I feel like they're not going to be able to stop Dallas. In my opinion, are they playing? Is Dallas at home?
No, it's at Denver.
So okay, then that changes outside the dome, but they proved us wrong before.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys
outside the dome is a big deal for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I mean, plus that air is a little bit different up there.
Mile high, yeah. So it could be a little struggle, but I feel like with CeeDee Lamb back, I feel like they're cooking right now. I mean, this is the game that Dallas Cowboys have to win to get out of getting out of 500. They got to be able to get this win and move forward. But I just don't know what you're gonna get from Bo Nix. Like Bo Nix is up. I have him in fantasy, so I talk about him because I focus more on him because he's my quarterback in my fantasy team. He's playing like up and down. It's kind of hard to know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's going to be a game to watch too. So if you're out there, definitely watch that game. I got that circled as one of the games I'm going to be seeing. And so, you also have the Buffalo Bills at the Carolina Panthers. Last time we saw Buffalo, they were getting their head beat in by the Atlanta Falcons, right? And they were getting their head beat in Monday night against the Atlanta Falcons. And then, coming off a bye week, maybe they fixed some of their defensive issues because a lot of their problems are on defense, and it seems like they're spluttering a little bit on offense too. But you would expect, with that team and Josh Allen, the MVP, Josh Allen of last season, they'll eventually get that going. And somehow, I heard Bryce Young has a high ankle sprain, so he won't be playing in this game either. But I don't think that Bryce Young is just this big time player anyway. But that could be the difference maker in that game. But Carolina Panthers are undefeated at home, including beating the Atlanta Falcons, shutting Atlanta Falcons out this season too. So the Buffalo Bills have to still be a little bit careful with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh yeah, Carolina Panthers they're not no pushovers this year. Like they're trying to they're drafting through, they're getting all their players through the draft, and they're starting to make that move forward to like being a really good team. What they have to figure out is that you can't start Rico Dowdle, and he's been killing the whole time at running back, and then Chuba Hubbard comes back from injury. You can't throw that. You got to go with the hot hand. You can't try to mix them in. But I could see them trying to do like a two-headed monster in this coming game, which will take the pressure off of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is a quarterback, but he's a veteran quarterback, so he knows how to manage the game. As long as he don't turn the ball over, get the ball to TMC, Tedero McMillan, get the ball to him, and whoever else. I just think you try to run the ball as much as possible in this game to take the pressure off of Andy Dalton, so he won't throw a pick.
He's going to need a Flacco type performance in order to beat the Bills.
So, but the thing about it is, the Bills have to get the ball to Cook, their running back. And in the last two games, I have him in my fantasy, and they have it. He's only had like 5 fantasy points average each week, and usually he's getting 15 to 20 points, and like they haven't been giving him anything. And I'm like, what's going on here? So, yeah.
These teams get pass happy and they forget about their bread and butter. I mean, Cook, they just signed him to a long-term deal over the offseason, and they're not using him either. So I think, hopefully, I mean, they got a good coaching staff over there in Buffalo, so maybe they'll get some things ironed out because of the bye week. And speaking of bye weeks, we had some teams. We got like 6 teams on the bye week this week: Arizona Cardinals, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Raiders, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks. I think they all are on bye weeks this week. So not a lot of games, this week, not the 4 slate of games that we're having this week. But one of the games, of course, I'm going to talk about is the Washington Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs. And, with Rashee Rice back and what he did this week and them beating the Raiders 31-0, and Patrick Mahomes basically in the 4th quarter was sitting on the bench, chilling and hanging out, yucking it up on the sidelines. The Washington Commanders have to be careful not to be this team, right? Not to be this team that the Kansas City Chiefs can beat up on this week. And the Commanders have a pretty good team. They made it to the NFC Championship last year, but this game right here, if they've got any injured players, and if they just want to just give up on any game, this is the one to do it. If Terry McLaurin needs another week, let him have this week off. If Deebo Samuel needs another week, let him have this game off. If Jaden Daniels needs another week, let him have this game off. Because going into Kansas City with the way things have been now, they have all their weapons and the way the Commanders' defense have been playing, this is going to be a tough potential out for the Commanders to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead on a Monday night in Arrowhead. This is one the whole season that I circled on my schedule, and I said to myself that this is going to probably be an L for the Commanders. I never say this for my team, but I understand I'm realistic on where we are right now with the injuries and things of that nature. And then the Commanders come back the following week, right? The following week, they come back and play Seattle at home. So you need to win that division game. But I heard that Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are potentially, they're going to practice this week, and they're potentially scheduled to come back for this particular game. And if they do, the Commanders might actually have a chance to actually, to potentially win this game and upset the Chiefs. But if they don't have any of these two guys, I think it's a wrap for the Commanders.
Yeah, so I'm going to second that. This Chiefs game, I'm going to circle that for you, and you get a check for this loss today, for this weekend. So there's no way without your key players going into Arrowhead that you guys win, because the defense plays so well in Arrowhead. They got Rashee Rice back, and the running game is starting to pick up now. There's no way. I think y'all about to get killed.
Kelsey and the gang.
Kelsey's about to get.
Kelsey and the gang.
You're gonna have his fiance, doing the dancing in the box and everything. So.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I'm just gonna be. I'll be watching this game, and I'll be seeing who's gonna be playing in this game. I wouldn't play Jaden Daniels in this game. I know that. I will let that hamstring heal a little bit more and let Mariota go in there. But Mariota, with our 4 complementary receivers, if they're back, all right, if they're back, they have a chance to play this game and particularly win, because our offense could actually put points on the board. I mean, even the Dallas game, I mean, they scored 22 points, and Jay Daniels basically did that in one half, right? He did that in one half, even without all of his top receivers. So, I mean, we can play it, but Kansas City's defense is not the Dallas Cowboys defense either, right? So it's going to be a tough one for the Commanders this week. But I'll be watching, and I'll have my fingers crossed that they don't get any more injuries in the game, and that maybe they can at least make it respectable. I don't think 31-0 is acceptable. Like they beat up on the Vegas Raiders. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another game here. Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts could be 7-1 after this week, and I expect them to be 7-1 after this week too, because there is no way I can really see that the Indianapolis Colts losing to the. I mean, I don't care if they lost their coach, they get fired their coach. There's nothing that's going to win this game for the Titans.
Oh no, I think it's even worse because you gotta. I mean, they may rally behind the interim coach. I mean, that's usually what happens. But there's no way they can beat the Colts.
They played a good first half against the Patriots. They kept it kind of close, but just too much firepower over there for the Colts. I don't expect anything from this.
And you got a rookie quarterback. Everybody's coming at him. Like every defense is playing well against this team, so I don't see anything happening here.
Yeah, nothing to see here. The Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots, buddy. What do you think about this particular game? And we talked about all those nice things about Drake May, and we talked about Vrabel and the defense and everything. Can they travel to the dog pound with that tough defense y'all got over there and get a win in the dog pound? What do you expect in this particular game?
But we have to make sure that your boy Dylan Gabriel doesn't throw picks. He can throw accurately past 10 yards. The stuff we've been saying all this time. He has to be able to stay out of his way, I guess. You can't. I mean, I don't know. Just give the ball to Quinshawn Junkins and get out of the way. Just hand the ball off and just go sit down, because he's not doing anything to have me think that he can go in there and just torch the Patriots. So I can't. So what he has to do is get it. I mean, they probably gonna play it because Vrabel is kind of like, I feel like he's a little bit like Belichick. They like to take something away. So they probably gonna try to play 8 in the box like every other other team has been doing, because they know that Gabriel can't throw past 10 yards accurately. So they go play 8 in the box, stop QJ, and then see what happens. Maybe Shador comes in because Dylan Gabriel can't do anything. Hopefully,
I don't know, man.
I got the Browns. I feel like the defense is gonna step up again, and I feel like their running game for the New England Patriots is not that consistent. From game to game, they kind of disappear and like stuff like that. And I feel like our defense can capitalize and get some turnovers potentially. But they, like we said, the quarterback's good. They just got. I feel like they don't have consistency at the running back spot though. So I think that's where we'll be able to slow them down.
Well, they haven't played your guy Henderson from the Ohio State. The other Buckeye that's on the other side. They haven't ran him at all like they're supposed to.
They might play him in this game because he's playing against Quinshawn Junkins. They may give him a little.
Man. I don't know. They haven't played him, man. But I've been waiting for him to come on the field for the Patriots, and maybe they're just holding him back till the end of the year, towards the end of the year. But this would be a good game for him to come out and play. But other than Junkins for you guys, I mean, I don't know what to even think about this particular game, because Junkins, he's pretty much, the engine that makes that offense goes. And if he can get away and have a couple of signature runs, I'm not quite sure he's going to be running 70 yards for touchdowns against the Patriots, but he can keep the Patriots defense honest and hopefully get you guys going a little bit. But if Drake May turns the ball over, which you guys can get him to turn the ball over, then you guys will have a chance to win this particular game.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. Hey, we're going to wrap up this show and thank everybody who's joined us on Facebook Live and also on YouTube Live. We'll be back next week, and we'll be talking about all of next week's games from Lonnie Washington and Tony Robinson. And this has been the Chasing the Highlights podcast. Good night, everybody.
Come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready